Well, hey everybody! Welcome to this impromptu Crystal Crawford show. I'm Crystal Crawford. This is my new friend and teammate, Esther. Hi.
Hi everyone, it's Esther, whatever.
And so we met online, and you started working with me, and we were like, Esther, you're brilliant. Why don't we have conversations together about stuff?
Okay.
And so today we're starting with unpacking the need for reactive reality with your mom, which of course is not relevant to anybody.
No.
And so, where would you like to start with this conversation?
Wow, it's a big topic, and for me, it's changed. Maybe I can tell you like completely changed.
Wow,
But yeah, access consciousness tools helped me a lot, and also my mom, we changed a lot, and our relationship changed a lot. So I have a proof that it can change.
yeah. Well,
It's
I
not
did
an
all.
impossible thing.
Yeah, well, I did all my changing the dynamic with my mom with the other tools, but I have to tell you, like, since the need for reactive realities, that whole conversation came out, I was looking back at the dynamic with her, and it was literally like we were just two need for reactive realities walking. Like our whole family was just a bundle of the need for reaction. And so we just reacted to each other constantly. And in my family, that showed up as, taking things personally and confronting and like going to therapy and all this stuff. Tell me more about how, what you've gotten aware of with this and what's happening and what's showing up.
Like for me, like I feel like every relationship with mom daughter or mom son, like it's
It's like,
different in some ways, but like also similar in a lot of ways.
yeah.
With me it was like when I started to change, like I'm 22 now, and this period of my life is like when I'm like getting out of family. I don't need my family in the same way anymore. And for my parents, especially for my mom, it was like I can understand that actually, but like letting me go and starting to choosing myself, so starting to choosing my how I can create my own life.
Totally.
For moms can be like, oh no, and do everything for to like I don't want to lose my kids. And it created for like 1 year all the time confrontations, like fighting, blaming. So yeah, but we both changed. For me, what worked is like just keep choosing my reality,
Yeah.
and I started to gain more awareness, like what works for me. And yeah, if you are in a situation where you are just fighting with your mom all the time, I can say just keep choosing yourself, your reality, and yeah,
Yeah, and I can add to that. If you are in a position where you're fighting with your mom all the time, one of the other tools that you can use in your own world is every single time you want to react to her, because I know for me, my mom has been historically the source of the need for a lot of reaction. So, again, she's my mother particularly is very, very good at inciting reaction. She actually needs that. I remember we had a conversation one day about how she doesn't believe that you're having a relationship if there's no conflict.
Mhm.
And I don't know how I got her to say that out loud.
Mhm.
It was a moment of insane honesty. But basically, she didn't feel like we were relating unless we were conflicting. And
Mhm.
so for me, like I'm 47, so we're in two different phases. But honestly, like the stuff with your mom kind of lingers through the years, even if you don't have as much contact or you've like been creating your life for a long time, it's still there. So she's really good at inciting reaction. So what I would need to do if she called me anymore, which she doesn't now, would be to like really like observe the energies that showed up in my body every time she would say something, because she can say a lot of different things in 1 2 minute period where I'm just like no. So it would be to recognize that need to react and really go all the need for reactive realities, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine shorts, boys, povids, and beyonds, to start eliminating the need. Because I think for me, I didn't realize until this last week, like how much need I had to react to all these different people, which is why we kind of separated this unpacking the need for reactive reality with relationships. We kind of pulled that apart into like different things with your mom, with your family, with your significant other, because the needs are different. So Is there certain things that you just react to with your mom that you wouldn't react to with anyone else?
Interesting, because now there isn't reaction anymore
That's
between
awesome.
us. So that's awesome. But back then there was a lot, especially when I was like getting out from in that process. There was like a lot of reaction every day. What was your question exactly? What helped me, or
Well, I
what?
was just curious if there was things you reacted to with do you react to your mom in a way that's different than other people? Because I know
Mm,
for me, like for example, I really, really liked having her approval. And when I didn't have it, and for the most part, I didn't have it,
mhm,
I was basically like, fuck you, I don't need you. So I had a very different thing going on.
mhm.
But it was really, 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 really important to me for her to approve of what I was doing. And when I discovered that she didn't, for me, I spent the next like 20 years in turmoil. So you've saved yourself 20 years. You're smarter than me.
Yeah, actually, I had the same thing. Like, I didn't even realize, like, when I was a kid or teenager, like, I always asked for her permission. Like, and always in my mind, in the back of my mind, like, what my mom would think, what my mom would say about this. And there was, like, all constant judgment, like, what she would say, how she would judge it.
Yeah.
And is it a good thing or a bad thing for me to choose this?
Yeah.
So I actually know this, but currently I don't have this now,
Cool.
so I cannot
That's,
really relate. But
yeah,
I
you're
know
fast.
it happened to me. It happened to me. But for us, it took like both parties to like change this area. But it's also can work if you start to change, if you start to face this. Okay, how I'm reacting, what can I do about this? So it doesn't need your mom to change. It's enough if you change this.
Yeah, yeah. And what I would have all of you guys do, because we're all watching this at different ages and stages in our life, is really look at, is there anywhere I'm still kind of unconsciously referring to my mom's reality to know what mine is? I can't tell you how many times in the access classes I've taken over the last 10 years where I will get up to the microphone because I have a question and I want to change something, and someone will say, well, is this your reality or someone else's? And it's 100% of the time my mom's. So I've literally made her reality mine without even recognizing it because, you know, as a kid, we don't know the difference between realities. We're just, you know,
Yeah. Just
absorbing.
our parents. That's the
Exactly.
best.
Exactly. So it was 100% time my mom's reality that I was trying to live from and then, of course, having difficulty with. And the thing about, you know, aligning and agreeing or resisting and reacting are the same thing. So once you agree with it and it's yours, then you can't change it because it's not yours. And you're trying to change it as if it's yours. So there's just so many different areas of our life where we're still like reacting to or agreeing with our mother's stuff and the way of looking at things that holds change or choice out of existence. So I just invite all of you guys to look at that. If there's an area of your life where you're stuck, you can ask, am I doing my reality? Am I doing my mom's reality or something else? And really go, okay, all the need of reactive realities, holding that in place, you know, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, online, shorts, boys, pobits, and beyond. Another tool.
So it can change.
It changes, yes, absolutely, if you're willing, for sure. I know we've got some comments here that I was asking the Infinite Being School about stuff that they had up around their mom. Do you want to read one of those and we can look at that?
Yeah, there were like few good
Yeah.
ones. um, Let me just check. Judgments, like my mom judges me, never accept me. I've never been what she expects and desires. Like, would you like to talk about like how, in the face of your mom's expectations and judgments, and how she wants you to be like function? Um, yeah, that's actually an interesting thing.
Yeah.
So what we can do about that when we face like my mom is like expect me to be
Yeah.
someone that I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at this morning. What do we need to, what changes someone else's need of us? So like, you know, when your mom has expectations that you show up in a certain way or you behave in a certain way or you choose in a certain way, that's her need of you to validate a point of view she's got or a desire to care in the way that she thinks caring should be. So it's her need. And I was like, what dissipates need? And actually, it's everything's the opposite of what it appears to be. Everything's the opposite of what it appears to be. It's that what dissipates need is receiving the need and then getting that she needs that and going, what do you require of me? Like, what is, it's really the opposite of what you think it would be. And for me to be able to choose that, I would need to pop and pod the need of reactive realities. Because what we tend to do with other people's need, or our mom, let's talk about moms. What we tend to do with our mom's projections and expectations of us is resist them. The thing about resisting something is that it holds it in place. It cannot change. So what needs to happen instead is the receiving of them. And then the communicating about, like, what can I be for you here? What can I be for you? I can't deliver what you want, but what can I be for you? What is this for you? Mm-hmm. And that is what actually changes it. So to get access to a different choice, because I think that's the biggest conversation, is like, how do you get access to the choice for receiving other people's projections and expectations, especially when it's your mom, and you very likely already decided that you have to deliver, and therefore you have to deliver, but you can't deliver, but you should deliver, but you can't. And so you build up all this resistance and reaction to her. But if that's not what changes it, if that's not what creates choice, then what's required is to get access to the choice for receiving it and being able to work with it without a point of view. So there's some need to clear the need for reactive realities there, and then really looking at, like, what would it take to be willing to receive this instead of resist it. So I think it's kind of advanced, because in the beginning, basically what I thought was that if my mom had an expectation of me, then she was right, and I was wrong. And I didn't like that, but it seemed like it was a fact. So I had to really go around my presumptions of what I thought was fact. If she had a projection and an expectation and I wasn't meeting it, then the person who was wrong was me. That didn't turn out to be true, but that's where I functioned from, and that's what made everything really difficult. So it's like letting go of the presumptions you have about what it means when somebody projects and expects at you, because it doesn't mean anything. It's just their stuff. Yeah. And then really looking at what would it take to receive this instead of resist it.
Yeah, I think in this conversation is the hardest, and also like the conversation we're gonna have on Thursday, like with significant other. I'm experiencing that now, especially, and the hardest for me was with my mom, and also now, is to not go into reaction in a way, like not putting up my barriers, like, and just like, even though I just want to, like,
that's the need. That right there that you just described, that's the need for reactive reality right there. And this is where we have a new tool, guys. So that moment right before you put your barriers up where you're like, all the need for reactive reality, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, all nine shorts, boys, poets, and beyonds.
It's like the most courageous moment, like, okay, I don't want to be right now. Like, that's the hardest for me, like, no need for being right. And the body.
Guess what?
And
wait. Guess what the need to be right is?
What?
Guess what the need to be right is? Guess what it is?
It's a reactive reality.
Yes, it's the need for a reactive reality.
Yeah, and I recently experienced this, since we are talking about this. When I go into reaction, I really feel like, oh my God, I need this.
You do need it. I mean, in that moment. But
how would I react without it? How would I be without it?
How would you even function in your relationship if you didn't have the need of reaction? And the thing about reactive realities is that what holds them there, what holds them as in place, is the need for them. If you didn't need them, they could just be a choice or not be a choice, but you need them. And that's the thing that I've seen being affected by clearing the need.
Yeah, it's so deep, like since we were born, like we are like learning this, how to act in certain situations, and we don't even know that we can be different. Like, it's obvious that I'm gonna shout at him or at her. Like, of course she or he deserves it. I have to be like this now, and like, yeah, not giving yourself up when you, like, just being calm and not reacting back, and it can change the whole situation. And like,
well, it does change the whole situation, but here the key to calm is not to fake it or suppress it, because what I would do is I would do the opposite. So I would feel the need, and then I didn't want to do the need to be right, but I was still doing it, but I didn't want to out loud it, and so then I would suppress it. And that's very different than allowing the need to dissipate and receiving, which is, I get what you're talking about with lowering your barriers. So there's a lot of different ways and pathways to this to what's beyond the need for reactive realities. And I think what's really up right now to change is like clearing it directly, but lowering
Yeah.
your barriers, receiving everything. Like if you can get there with that, that's another way. That's amazing. But it's also really watching that you're not suppressing you. So what's, do you know the difference? Like, can you identify the difference between relaxation and suppression?
Yeah, definitely. I started to do like I'm calm,
I'm calm,
but
where everything's boiling underneath, but you're not actually
I'm
calm.
dying inside. That's not true allowance, and it's not changing anything actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. So it's not actually changing the thing, and yeah, it's a thing to be an allowance and choosing something different. But there are like a lot of unconscious things in ourselves, like energetically and in our bodies, that actually like clearing can help a lot. Like that's just changing like from the root. I don't know how to say.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
really looking forward to
yeah.
it.
Yeah, so we're doing a call today, you guys. If you're watching this in real time, we have a call happening in an hour and a half that you can join. It's crystaljoycrawford.com/clarity if you want to go sign up for it. It's clearing the need for reactive realities with your mom. And it will be a clearing call. And the thing about anything, the pathway to change anything is to identify what you're doing. Is it's really choice is the fastest thing. If you see what you're doing and you're like, that's shit, I'm going to choose something else. That's the fastest pathway to anything. What I'm looking at is where we don't seem to get access to another choice, and I think with a lot of these areas, mom, family, significant other, we get stuck a lot into, I know my partner and I have just been in a constant need of reactive realities for like the last 2 years. And this is the first moment these last 5 days where we've literally finally gotten access to something else. Because I could not, no matter what tool I used, it would change a little bit, but it didn't change the thing fully. So I was like, what do we need? So to change a thing fully, many times you need to like articulate what it is you're doing, and then you can see it. And I know you said something about this actually, because you and I had a conversation about this in a different way, and you were finally like, oh my God, in the last few days I've been able to see where I go into reaction.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yes.
Yeah. And it's just kind of everywhere. It's like we're kind of constantly reacting to or from something. So that's what I would like to gift change around, because it's like, you don't even know it's like so unconscious. It's so a part of the way we function. It's just the way it is that we don't even know we're doing it until you do. And then once you can see that you're doing it, that's when you have, oh, I'm doing the need for reactive realities. Oh, do I want to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I do. Okay, fine. Or maybe not. But yeah, that's, so for all of you guys listening, if this is something that's just up for you, you're invited. We're going to do the call today. There's going to be, so you can come live, you can ask your questions, you can get the change that you need. If you're listening to this in the future and you missed this live, then you can check the shop, and that will be in there, crystaljoycrawford.com/clarity. And very likely a clearing loop will be created out of it too. So there will be that too. But the important thing to get with all of your relationships is that they can be different, and it starts with you. And it starts with you getting aware of what you're doing. Full stop. So in any particular moment when that, and for me, what the big key to freedom with all of this has been recognizing when that need emerges to react in some way. And if there's a need that emerges and then I suppress it, that's the same fucking thing. And to then use the tool to clear it out until the charge goes away. Because I've spent most of my life really owned by that need and trying to change it in all these different ways. And it's gotten so different over the last 10 years. But this is like, oof, the amount of relief I have in my body over this new conversation is like ridiculous. So anything else you want to add about
Yeah,
this?
just what if this can be the kindest thing you can do with your mom, like give to your mom that you change you and relationship with your mom, because maybe she cannot see the chance or the possibility that this can change, but when she notices you, when she sees you, that wow, my daughter, my son started to change, she's weirdly different, but I like this actually. So what if you can be the kindest in the way to change this for yourself and not expecting her to change? I think that's important to not expect your mom to be different, to change, like allow her to just choose what she chooses, and you can change yourself. So I'm just it, perceiving is such a kind energy in
I
this, and
love
it can
this so
change.
much. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So if you guys want some of that, you're more than welcome to come. We start in an hour and a half, and the link's on the screen. Esther, you're a gift. I'll see you back here tomorrow. We're going to jump into another full-on
Yay!
topic. See you guys later. If you loved it, share it with your friends, and we'll chat soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.